Hey there, super friends. It's Joey with Last Point Gaming. Today's Tuesday, January 15th, 2019. You ever have one of those days that no matter how much you try to patch it up and make it work, the bottom just kind of keeps falling out? Yeah. It's been a really long week, and it's only fucking Tuesday. But you didn't tune in to listen to all that, so let's see here. Oh, I don't know how I missed announcing it yesterday, talking about it. I was super excited about it and then forgot about it because I was drowning in crap. But if you wander on over to WotC's official YouTube channel, there's a video concerning the next arena release, which is happening, I'll say February 1st. With a lot of exciting news, and I'm just gonna start off on what I consider to be the most exciting part. We did it, friends. We pissed and moaned and bitched and whined loud enough and long enough and hard enough. WotC heard us. They are going to be adding traditional constructed to the ranked ladder. So personally, for me, that is super exciting. I think for a lot of the pro players who have been streaming Arena, it is also very exciting. I'm still working my way through Jim Davis's series. I'm on the Gold 3 to Gold 2 video. Not to be confused with the Gold 3 to Gold 3 video. I listen to him while I'm working, and then, of course, if one of the streamers I subscribe to and pay attention to goes live, I'll pause the video because I can watch at any time, and I'll go listen in on the stream. And, he has been really fun to listen to. One, his, channel sound effects are pretty fucking funny, and I don't know what all of them mean. Which makes me smile every time I hear Ralph say, "Hi, Super Nintendo Chalmers." And two, Jim himself, even when he's being kind of grumbly and angsty, because, dude, grinding best of one once you hit gold tier becomes, you kind of wonder why you're doing that instead of just banging your head against a wall. It seems like the wall would be more productive. It's pretty rough. And especially for players who have been playing Magic for a long time, the best of one thing is just really mind-bending. Because again, I went over all this at some point since I've returned. Best of one is really a different game. And you have to build your decks in a different manner. Now, I have some experience with this because Boo and I always do two-headed giant pre-releases, because we have tried to do the thing where we're both playing sealed separately, and it's kind of a mess. So we do the two-headed giant thing together, and if you're not aware, two-headed giant is best of one. But the reason that's generally considered acceptable is there's a lot of other factors that kind of ease that strain. One, generally you don't build decks of the same strategy for each partner. You build decks that complement each other, and maybe there's some synergies between the decks. But you figure at that point, aside from things that only apply to things you control or your personal battlefield, you have 80 cards to synergize with instead of 40. So, you build decks that work well together, and usually you slate it so one's better early game and the other one's better late game, and they both have an okay mid game. If possible. Sometimes you end up with two mid-rangey decks because, well, that's what you got to work with. But finding room for say, your 2 copies of Crushing Canopy in 2 decks in Limited is way easier than finding room for even 1 copy of Crushing Canopy in 1 deck. Because there are going to be matches where that's a completely dead card. They don't have any enchantments or creatures with flying. So what do you do? It just sits in your hand and rots, and, you know, maybe if you get hit with a discard spell, alright, cool, at least you have something useless to discard. But you'd still kind of prefer it was a useful card, right? But again, you have 2 players working together, so more bases get covered. This best of 1 thing in Arena has been... It's especially irritating when... I mean, and you can definitely see it. Right now, I have Travis Sowers, I think is the guy's name. Vance mentioned playing his tokens deck and tagged him, and I replied, you know, hey, can you link me to a deck list? And Travis Sowers, I think that's his name, then tagged me in his thread where he had posted the deck list. So I have his Naya tokens build, which actually has a sideboard, but of course, you know, I don't use it. And I have Brad Nelson's Golgari. It's kind of a Golgari mid-range with some Wild Growth Walker synergy that he was playing on a stream, I don't know, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that. So those are 2 decks I flip between. I do have MTG Goldfish's Merfolk build, but of course it's icky because it has blue in it. And I don't know, I can't really seem to make any headway with that deck. I've played against it on Arena, and seems good when it's in somebody else's hands, so I think I'm just doing something wrong. So I flip between these 2 decks. Like, once I think I have come to the conclusion 4 wins is where to stop with one deck and flip to the other, or 3 losses. I flip between the 2 decks. Now, Brad Nelson's deck isn't really one of my usual strategies, but I think I'm playing it, you know, well enough. I'm not playing it like Brad Nelson does. I'm not that good. I'm going to merge, so, well, okay. We're good. So I'm sure there are places where I'm not making the optimal plays that, you know, Brad would do better with it. But I understand, you know, mid-range decks well enough that I can kind of, okay, I can do alright with it. The tokens build, on the other hand, it's kind of my jam. So, and I'll tell you, when I'm playing Golgari mid-range, I play the Mirror and Jeskai, Izzet, and blue-white. Like, that is pretty much all I match against, with rare deviation. When I play the tokens deck, still Jeskai, much to my chagrin. I find I don't mind Ral as much as Teferi. Teferi pisses me off. Like, as soon as one hits the table, the swearing starts, and husband's like, oh, this game's gonna go well for you. Ral, on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, I can deal with you. You're fine. So I'll still play against Jeskai, and then I get mono white and red white and mono red. I, like, never play against Golgari with it. Oh, and of course the mirror match. I see blue-black control against both of them. So there definitely seems to be some matchmaking going on. But anyway, yeah, the best of 1 is maybe for people who start in that environment, it doesn't seem like irritating. But for those of us that are used to sideboarding and used to having kind of a plan B and not having access to that, and like a shitty draw just screws you, you know, you're like, great, I'm ticking down, awesome. And that's the other thing, like, opening hands. There are hands that you keep in the blind and go, yeah, this seems reasonable. And then depending on what their turn one play is, you either go, oh, okay, sweet, or, well, I'm boned. Because the optimal hand against burn is way different than the optimal hand against control. And passable hand against burn and control are very different too. So when you're only playing this one game and you keep a hand that you're like, well, it could get a lot worse. Like, this is a fine starter as long as I'm not playing against aggro. And then the first thing that hits the battlefield is a mountain, and you're like, awesome. Could still be Jeskai. I do okay against Jeskai. And then, like, the next land to hit is a plains, and you're like, nope, I'm gonna have a bad time. To not have the second and third game where you know what you're playing against, so you know better if, you know, should I keep this hand or should I toss it? It's pretty infuriating. So I am super excited to see that they're adding traditional constructed to ranked. That makes me incredibly happy. Because I have had quite a few rage quit moments since I hit gold, and I've been on gold for, I don't know, like 2 weeks, 3, something like that. I'm on gold 3 now, so that's exciting. And yeah, I keep dinging back down to gold 4 and then dinging back up to gold 3, and it's just kind of a seesaw, and I get really close to hitting gold 2. And then I remember that this is what it was like going from 4 to 3. Is like, I did that for like a week and a half, where like, oh, I'm gonna hit gold 3. Oh, I just lost 3 games in a row. Shit. Oh, here we go. Oh, nope. So, I don't know. The closer, like, the more times I hit the peg right before going up to gold 2, it does give me hope. Because this is what the slog was like from 4 to 3. Now, the season is ending very soon here. I think the release update hits February 1st because that's when the new season is. And the ranking season is still going to be in beta. They're still figuring out how they want to do things, and that's understandable. You can't make the rewards too good, honestly, in a kind of free-to-play system. Of course, the better the rewards are, the more desirable they are, the more people are likely to pump some money into it. But for the most part, you know, you got to balance how good you make the rewards. But you got to make them good enough for people to want to go after them. So they're still sussing all that out. And I think that's like, actually, it's been a good thing. So once you hit gold, your reward payout is 1,000 gold pieces, and I want to say it's 2 packs. And then each tier you go up from there adds a pack of Ravnica Allegiance specifically. And I would really like to see them change that to a pack you can cash in for whatever set you want. Because I did a lot of, or not Ravnica Allegiance, of Guilds of Ravnica. I did a lot of Guilds of Ravnica drafts. So I have a pretty big Guilds of Ravnica collection. What I don't really have is a good size Ixalan or Rivals of Ixalan collection, because I wasn't really playing then. And they're still in standard for a bit. And they're becoming more and more important. So I kind of wish I could cash in packs that, you know, for a set that I actually need cards from, as opposed to a set that I did a lot of drafts in, and therefore don't really need much from. But I'm not going to argue about free stuff. You want to just give me Guilds of Ravnica packs, cool. You know, whatever. They'll turn into wild cards, anything that I have play sets of. And then I can just go get the specific cards I want from Ixalan and Rivals. So, I mean, it's fine. I kind of feel like the packs would be more desirable if I could, like, say, hoard up prize pack claims for, oh, new set coming out. Cool. I'm just gonna sit on these and wait for the new set to drop and claim them on the new set. I don't know why you made that noise, phone. Oh well. But, again, it's free rewards, so I'm not going to bitch too much. But, yeah, the extra rewards for going up tiers from here aren't really enough to get really all that stressed about it. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to hit Mythic, but if this is the Slog and Gold, I imagine the Slog, I think next is Platinum, then Diamond, then Mythic. And I imagine the Slog in each tier up from here is just, you know, exponentially worse. So, would be nice to break the next tier before the point season ends, but whatever. I'm not terribly worried about it. So I'm excited to see what else they do with rank in the future. I like that it really seems like WotC is hearing what people have to say and the collective voice of the community going, God, this sucks. Or, you know, maybe they're going to use this season to really pull data and see, you know, what are the numbers for best of 1, what are the numbers for best of 3, and hey, if they have data to back it up and they say, nope, vast majority of players are still playing best of 1, even though we added best of 3 to ranked, so there's your answer, then okay, I can live with that. I just didn't really care for them saying, oh yeah, the reason we did it this way is because the majority of players are playing best of 1, when the system really funnels you in that direction. So of course most of your players are playing best of 1. But all that said, go watch the release video, and apparently there's more notes for this release that aren't in the video that they didn't have time to go over. Check it out. Tell me what you think of the changes. Tell me anything at all, really. I need some human interaction, friends. I'm having a rough time. But with all that said, I'm home now. So as always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.